It's not a competition. But yes, it is. I'm kidding.
It's not, but it totally is. Like, there are no winners, but this one wins. What is going on, everybody? This is Chris from the Bass Channel. I am once again at Nicki Tedesco's Strands LA studio out in Hollywood, and today we are shooting out a bass that is very near and dear to my heart and a bass that is very near and dear to Nicki's heart. It is, if you haven't guessed already, the German Pro Series Warwick versus the Euro Series Spector. So before we get rolling, thank you for inviting me into your home studio.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I want to start off with your history and relationship to the Spector brand.
It is such a cool story.
Okay.
So I went through all of Los Angeles to find the bass. And I was searching because I always had these like kind of cheap basses, like $300 basses. I know that's not like super cheap, but I wanted like my own tone, and I could never really find it at that price range, really. And so I would like borrow P basses and things like that. And so I was like, I need my own bass. I need like a really good bass. I need my own tone. So I searched, and I finally found this one bass, and it was my Spector. It was this one.
Oh,
so,
okay.
But it took me like, I went to every store in Los Angeles, and so I just bought this off the shelf, right? Because it kills it. It just kills. You plug it in, it's like, bam, done. Like, everyone's floored. Everyone in the building had a heart attack and died. And I just walked out with the bass. But no, so yeah, this is the Euro LX. And so I got that, like, I think 15 years ago. And after that, I met PJ at NAMM. And so we started a relationship, and they asked me to design the new Rebop 2015 because I kept playing this bass, and he kept seeing me with pictures playing this bass. And I go, but you know, the Spectors aren't great for slapping because, I want this pickup at the end, and it sounds amazing and it's perfect for slapping. So if I'm going to do a gig where I need to slap, I got to use this bass. So he says, well, why don't you help me redesign the Rebop for 2015? So I did that with them. And so I've just had a relationship with them because I love them. So I represent them. It's like I'm endorsed by them, but really I endorse their basses because this is the sound I want. I mean, it took me forever to find my tone. And the minute that I heard, I just plucked one E and I was like, I found it. And so ever since then, I've been completely diehard for Spector, even though I have other basses because I do other types of sounds for, recording, things like that. Either way, my tone is my Spector's, and so this is the newer model. This is the LT, and I'll tell you all about it in a minute.
Okay, well, let me go talk about my history with Warwick momentarily. Okay. For me, it started, I should say before October of 2018, they were just another bass brand. Cool, they're made of wood. October 2018 comes around, and they fly us and a handful of other YouTube people to Warwick's headquarters in Machnokuiken, Germany. I'm probably saying that wrong. You got to get the going on, and I can't do it. So they fly us out to the headquarters, and we hang out at Warwick for a week. And a lot of it, I mean, they were really accommodating. They gave us a factory tour. I got to see where they keep all the wood and how they put it together. But the thing that did it was just in between shoots, and we're sitting there, okay, well, you know, what are we going to do next? Okay, we got that shoot at 10, and then we got to do this, and just mindlessly noodling, killing time. I got, if it wasn't locked in a case, play whatever you want. German-made, master-built, custom shop, Warwick. Just, there you go. Have fun. So I'd be sitting there just playing it. I come home and pick up my green Fender that before was like, that's the one. It felt like a toy after playing all these exotic woods, you know? And so that was, you know, after seeing what goes into the craftsmanship and just getting used to like a real quality instrument that's put together with care, I became, you know, and Gibson, as we remember from last time, and Warwick, I'm hard in the Warwick corner. I love what they do. So, like you said, you have the Euro LT. This is the German Pro. It's a 2019 German Pro Series double buck Corvette. It is a swamp ash. You have to enunciate that word because otherwise people think you're saying something else. It is a swamp ash body with a Wenge or Wenge fingerboard, and I believe it's also a Wenge or Wenge neck. 3-piece neck, 3-piece body, Warwick ergonomic tuners, and we'll get into some of the other fit and features in a minute. But as far as the wood goes, yours is maple. Tell me about the wood.
So it's got a 3-piece maple neck, and then it's got European alder wings, and then it's got a little slice of walnut in the middle, which we're gonna show you pictures of a base where you can really see it. You can't totally see it with this one because of the way that the blue fade is. And let's see, ebony fretboard. And then there's some other little features that are the upgrade from the LX to the LT. And should I go into that right now?
Yeah, let's do it. I want to know as much, because again, I don't have that much experience with Spector. They sent me one Legend neck through, which, I mean, it was great. But like I told you earlier, it was just another Korean-made base. It was better than other Korean-made bases. But so I don't know a lot about this other than just what's on paper. So I'd like to hear your perspective.
Well, and I'm really excited we're doing this because, you know, there's the classic like showdown, you know, between the two bases.
And this is a huge showdown.
Right. And I haven't really tried Warwicks. I tried them, you know, at NAMM, just kind of messing around. But it's, you know, I'm so with my Spectors. Like, I already got the tone I want. I don't need to mess around. Anyway, so the Euro LX, which is this guy, doesn't have the battery compartment. It's in the actual compartment here. So this is a little upgrade, which I'm so happy about. I've been giving them a hard time about that for a while. And so another upgrade is the ebony fretboard because it was just rosewood. And also, this is the PJ. You can get different pickup configurations, but these are Bartolinis. They're custom wound for Spector. And the old model, the LX, were EMGs. And this the bridge hasn't changed. It's the same. But also the electronics inside are the Darkglass tone capsule that they've created for them, for Spector. And usually the Darkglass has 3 knobs for, you know, they've got the treble, mids, and bass. But this only has the treble and bass, and then inside you can adjust the mids.
Okay.
And then the range is the treble is 3.5K, the mids are 500, and the bass is 150. So that's different than the normal.
The bass is 150.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So yeah, they really did custom voice that because if I remember correctly, on what you'd find on a Dingwall or something where Darkglass tone capsules come stock, I know it was like 3K, 3.2K or whatever. 500 hertz, and then I thought it was 80 or 100, but I don't remember it being 150. So that's, they really are designing it to Spector's specs.
It's for that.
Yeah.
Spector tone. Ah! Okay, what
so
else?
you mentioned having the battery compartment on the back.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to compare and contrast because this does not have the battery compartment. And
so have fun at a gig.
I like the battery compartment because it's convenient to change the battery.
Yes.
Well, the thing with this backplate
oh man,
is it's also convenient because all you need is 2 little clips. So
that is really cool.
Yeah,
but I don't like the battery going. You know, after years of taking the battery in and out, you're messing with the electronics in there. Like, you know, touching them and the static on your fingers. I feel like it's not a good idea.
I feel like if you're gonna put down the money to buy one of these, you're gonna probably be careful with it. I would think you're not gonna be poking. What does this do?
Yeah.
You know. Which, by the way, I wanted to interject this one thing. This isn't a perfect one-to-one comparison. I do feel like this is a flagship in the Warwick line. I feel like it represents what they do and how they sound. The 1-for-1 would have been the Streamer stage 1 or stage cut. The 1-for-1 would have been the Warwick Streamer stage 1 4-string, which is a neck through with a PJ configuration. But I was fortunate enough to get this from my friend Billy over at Zounds. So huge thank you to Billy at Zounds.
Hi,
Otherwise,
Billy.
I would have had to pay a lot more to make this a 1-for-1 comparison.
Yeah.
But again, I think they're both kind of in the same, because there is a tier up, right? The American series for Spector. And there is a tier up from this, which is the German master built. This is the team built. This one retails for right in the general ballpark of $2,300, and that is somewhere in the general ballpark of $2,600. So kind of in the same playing field, obviously different pickups, but same kind of construction lines, similar price point. And I feel like they both represent each line. They're both pretty popular amongst each brand.
Yeah. I think the main difference might be that you've got the humbuckers and this has the PJs for me as not really a 1-to-1. But I mean, we tried our best, and you'll see in all the tone demos, the 15 different tone demos that you have for the spaceship base over there. Where mine just has one incredible tone. I'm just saying. No, it has 2 tones. Actually, has more.
3.
It's got like 4. It's got a few. I only use 1, so I'm good. But I wanted to tell you something else. So about the Darkglass electronics on the inside. First of all us bass players, we love Darkglass, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
I do.
mean, they're just like the flagship brand made by bass players. I mean, incredible stuff. They come out with incredible stuff. In fact, we've got some pedals we might mess around and play some tones for you in a second.
Big shout out to our friend Franco and Doug over at Darkglass.
Hi. So I was really excited about the electronics in there because as soon as I heard, you know, Darkglass electronics are in there, I knew it was going to be good, right? But I also was very excited because the tone pump has been an ongoing, it's such a gift of tone, right? But when you're plugging into an amp, right? Mm-hmm. So you plug into an amp and it's incredible. You're blowing everybody away. You're blowing out the whole place. You hit one note, everyone in the gig during sound check looks over and I'm like, don't worry, it's just my Spector, no big deal, don't worry. And they're like, hit the negative dB button, you know? They're like, stop it with that bass, you're gonna blow it. So that is great when you're live. But when I go to play through my DAW, which you guys know, I'm a DAW person. Everything goes through the box. Everything goes through my software because I'm always recording things. And I could not control the tone. So with the Euro LX, I mean, I couldn't control the signal. It was just way too hot. Mm-hmm. And so in order to control the signal, I had to start messing with the tone. So I had to start messing with the volume and the gain. And so, you know, I felt like I was losing tone just in order to get a good signal that wouldn't distort and be too hot of a signal to record with. So anyway, the LX has if you have a tone pump that's before a certain year, you can't adjust it. So you just have to live with it. And then the TW35, which also has a tone pump, you can adjust it. And I do have a video, if you want to check that out, on how to adjust it. And still, I've adjusted that, and I still have to mess with the knobs a bit just to get where it doesn't overdrive. But I plug this in, bam, it's fine. So there's a couple more things too I wanted to add about the weight. This is lighter than the other bass, but I mean, it's not that important. So, okay. So tell me, what should we do next?
So I just kind of want to run through. So we've touched on the pickups. We've touched on Warwick's easy access battery compartment.
Yes.
Also has the easy access truss rod. So it just, I'm not going to do it now because there's strings on, but you can just pop that right off, make your adjustment,
So cool.
pop it back on. Obviously ergonomic tuners. But, I'm going to save the best for last. So obviously you got the 2-piece 3-dimensional bridge. It goes up and down, back and forth, and you can adjust string spacing, which I thought was really cool. I like the 2-piece design. This one is active-passive via a push-pull, blend, 2-band MEC preamp with the MEC MM-style humbucker, and each pickup has a dedicated 3-way switch, giving you in the down position series, middle position single coil, and up position parallel humbucker, and you can do any combination. In fact, there is 15 total combinations, and we're going to show you all 15 right now. Okay.
15,000. I'm kidding.
So moving on to my favorite area of this bass, which is right in here. We talked a little bit ago, the volute, because both of these basses have the 14 degree, I don't know exactly what degree, tilt back on the headstock. And that's a weak point for, as you know, Gibson, looking at you. It's a weak point. So having that extra mass there, yours is there too. It's a little more subtle. We'll touch on that in a minute.
Yeah.
That's a really nice feature. But my favorite, if you're familiar with Warwick, is the Just-A-Nut 3. As you know, adjusting your nut action is one of the biggest pains in setting up your instrument. Bridge is easy, pickups are easy, neck relief is easy, but to do the nut, it's I don't want to say invasive, but it's involved. Mm-hmm. All you need is a little Allen wrench, and the nut can adjust up and down to wherever you want it to go. So you righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and you're ready to fly. Yeah, I mean, obviously, once you get it set up, you kind of don't need to mess with it again.
Yeah.
But just in case, you try different strings or you do whatever you do, it's just dead simple to adjust. And I've always hated messing with nuts. So having that, in my opinion, is what really elevates this bass. Just the functionality and then obviously the strap locks come stock.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Dunlop brand strap lock, and they work with the Warwick strap lock if I can put it in right. There we go. Found the hole. So, yeah, I mean, those are, I think, tonally, it's up for debate. I mean, everyone's got their favorite tone, but I think some of the fit and finish and just what the Warwick comes with, I think kind of give it a step up from most of its competitive line.
Yeah.
So let's run down, like, I want to know what kind of nut looks to be brass. I want to know what kind of tuners, the bridge, all the geeky nitty gritty stuff.
Okay. So that is really cool about that. And plus we've seen, just by putting different gauge strings already, what we've done just with a couple videos, how it changes the action so much on the bass. And I just kind of am set in my ways with strings. And then when you brought these hundreds over and I was like, wow, my action's lower.
Well, that's the one that because I texted you. I said, we're going to do, the Elixir new strings thing. You said you wanted to do 45 to 100.
Right.
So
I didn't realize that I had 105s on here. Apparently, that's what it came with.
Oh, well. Here we go again with strings that are too light.
I mean, it's like I play bass and I'm not a super gearhead. And I know I keep saying this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's not, I am completely into gear. And I also want to, be there to represent some of your subscribers that are not totally into gear, but want to have an amazing tone. And just, I just got this bass and I was like, it's perfect. I'm not going to mess with it. Everything's fine. So it does come with the locking straps. And then the nut, the nut is brass. And then also it has the Spector bridge, which is the same from the old Euros. And you can adjust it up and down, but you can't adjust the string separation like you were saying yours was. That is very cool. So then the one change on this too is the Godot tuners, and they're a little bit lighter, so that makes this bass lighter. Also in the European alder wings, they have them chambered. So now this bass is 8.7 pounds instead of 9.2, which when I heard that, I thought that is not a big difference. But it is a big difference. Yeah. It is. When you're just like lifting it in this way, it's a big difference, just that little bit. And, the inlays, everything pretty much is the same with the design. I really like the change of the ebony fretboard, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like mine too. Mine's got more of an open grain kind of feel. Like it feels like it's made out of wood, which I like. Yeah. Satin finish. The swamp ash is pretty light. I don't think it's chambered. I think it's just solid, but this is a pretty light wood. I was going to bring my Babin Corvette, which is a passive dual J, and I finally realized it's not going to work. It's passive. It's not going to compete with active. But that thing is heavy. I don't know how heavy, but a lot heavier than this, with a way thicker neck. So I've been playing this all week, kind of getting used to how it feels and not trying to make it my other one, Have
you noticed that with the wood, I know there's a lot of talk and there's going to be a lot of
We're
debate
about to dig ourselves into a hole
I know.
I like going there. Let's go to China. Let's do it.
But with that heavier bass, do you think it sounds heavier? Oh, that's the only question. I know there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of other things. There's a lot of variables. But do you think it actually sounds heavier? Is it worth the extra 5 pounds?
I'm going to get my shovel and say yes. Because, I've read different characteristics on Babinga wood, so and they're conflicting. Some say it's more bright. Some say it's more mellow. All I know is it's heavy, so it must be more dense. And the little bit that I know, not a scientist or anything, but the little bit that I know about how wood affects electric instruments' tones is that the more dense the wood, the less it absorbs. So it's pushing that energy back to the string, which is then in turn being picked up by the pickups. So the wood doesn't have the effect that people think it does, but what it's doing is it's affecting the string, because I've always considered the bass is the body, the string is the voice, and the pickup is the microphone. So we're using the same microphone right now, but we have different voices.
Right.
So it's like that's how I've always looked at it. So the string reacts how the wood makes it react. That's my limited knowledge. So let me get my shovel back.
I think this is beautiful that we're talking about this, because I'm going to, full disclosure, I don't think about any of that stuff. I know you research it.
The one thing I want to bring up real quick is I didn't know, the Tonewood jury was out until I played a James Trussart bass. And again, he's a French dude. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but James Trussart. He makes instruments out of steel. So we played one of his basses. It was a PJ bass, hollowed steel. Yeah, he's down the street from here.
Yes.
It's a hollow steel bass with arcane pickups, and then a roasted maple. I don't know if it was roasted, but maple neck. That bass through the amp sounded metal. Not, that a little bit, but it really like a metallic.
It was like tinny.
Yeah, and it was cool. I liked it, but if that doesn't argue for Tonewood, I don't know what does.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my little tangent city.
So yeah, again, I want to be able to represent the people that aren't fully trying to get so deep into gear and so deep into wood. It's okay to just, pick up a bass and it sounds good and it feels good to you. That's okay.
No, yeah.
You don't have to dig so deep.
I mean, that's kind of how we all started anyway, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, but it can be kind of daunting because when I hear you talking about all the details of wood, I'm like, should I understand? Should I know about what if my bass sounds different than the other one? This is what I know. I've got a Fender Jazz, right? I call it the Franken bass because it's got a P bass neck and then a jazz body. And it is so heavy. It's probably 15 or 16 pounds. I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
if this is 8, I feel like it's double. It doesn't
Probably
sound
11.
better. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't sound better. That's all I know. So, but to some, maybe it's better for what they're doing. So it really just depends on what you're doing,
Yeah.
what sound you want. So, but it is so interesting to go down that rabbit hole of, does wood sound different? This is why I was so intrigued by that age video that you
did.
did.
End up watching that whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That was so intriguing.
That was that was a fun video to put together.
There's one difference I've noticed on this is that I'm polishing it now by playing it so much because it was matte.
Yeah.
Now it's polished. That's what age is doing to my bass. So
Nice.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's cut with the chit chat and let's do a little back and forth. So both of our preamps are off, correct? Bypass.
Yep.
Okay, so where are you notched on your EQ with both pickups on?
Yes.
I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to start with the parallel humbucker, so switches in the up position. There's that light gauge again. So that's parallel humbucker with, both of them on.
I saw your face though. You were like, "That's really quiet."
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I think it might be the fact that it's parallel. So in the room, for some reason, I'm a little bit quieter, but the sound you're hearing, I just put a little bit of compression, not enough to color the tone, but enough to give you kind of an even response so you're not distracted by any subtle differences in volume. You're hearing purely and only the tone.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay. So, how about the front pickups?
Yeah, let's twiddle some knobs and have some fun. I'm going to go front pickup. Which, by the way, in the blend knob, at least for me, it feels counterintuitive. To go to the front pickup feels like I'm going to the back, but I don't know. Maybe I'm the one who's counterintuitive. If I hit the hell out of it, we get some good volume. But maybe let me try not to hit the hell out of it. Okay, that was front pickup series.
Okay. How about back pickup?
So that was my back pickup single coil, so it was pretty close.
Yeah.
So let's start playing with some EQ. Let's go back both pickups. And I just kind of want to hear you just play and then just turn your treble up. I just want to hear where that frequency sits.
So if I'm going to play at a blues gig, I basically
wouldn't do
just
that.
turn. Yeah. I would just stand there and ride the E and be like, pay me $150 per minute. So I just turn the treble all the way down. then turn it all the way up back up when I want to actually play my music. Okay, wait. So here we go. Here's the bass. It gets really tinny. Is it me, or I just feel like there should just be no knobs and it should just all be all the way up?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can
just one
you can
big
do
volume
that, right?
when I just want to slide in and out.
You can do that. Just set them. You know, take the knobs off, turn them all the way up, push them in the body, and then
Yeah. You know what I did on the Rebop, the 2015? I had them put a button that would just cut off all the sound. Because I said I want to do, it's because I wanted to do industrial. And I was like, I want to all of a sudden do like these stutter things on the bass.
Yeah.
But it had this noise every time I did it. It was, it was terrible. It was a weird mod that I did. They didn't put it on the bass.
The more you push it, you know, you got to get right in there. I think that goes away because I had one on a guitar once, but I was never able to get rid of that noise.
I don't know how many years I was going to have to push that button.
You need a two-way switch, I guess.
Too many.
Okay, so let me go through. Ooh, I'm just going to have to just do it a little bit. So this is my treble. Now, there is no literature as to what these frequencies are. I've looked, I can't find it. So that was treble. Here is bass. This is notched. And then here's maxed everything. You have to throw that riff in there.
Yes, right? Yes, you do.
You got the shirt on, you got to do it, you know? So yeah, that was everything, both pickups on, in series, everything maxed. Just for fun, like I would never do, let's turn the treble off. I would never play like that with that setting. But there it was. And you don't even want to know what it sounds like with no bass, because otherwise let's just play guitar.
Right.
Why would you turn the bass knob down?
I don't know. I turned mine down and it sounded real bad, and I did it anyway. I did it for you, bass channel. I did it for you.
I'm sorry. No!
Yeah.
There we go. See, okay, maybe we don't need the bass knob.
That's a tone choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, we're at both pickups in series.
Some people might like it.
I liked it for that. That was cool. If you need to pull some, but then again, you gotta have the low in there. You know, like that.
I love bass. Who doesn't love it? We love bass right up in here, don't we?
You gotta have the bass sounds good.
Yes,
why would you ever
bass
take
makes
that
me
away?
happy. I don't know. I don't even know.
We want to kick on some.
Why would you even think of that? Why would that even cross your mind?
They put it there. It's not my fault.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, let's check out these pedals. Oh.
So I'm running the Alpha Omega Ultra, and you are running my favorite, the X
Ultra, which I've never tried till right now. So I'm very excited. This is a first experience with this.
Yeah, I don't know why the more I use the Darkglass product, the Alpha Omega falls in my favorites. Like I hardly ever use it. I use it for Josh a lot when we do covers, but I've been using that X Ultra a lot more lately, and the Vintage. I'm playing through generally how I set it for Josh. Now, unfortunately, I'm not Josh, but I'll do my best. So here is this bass, both pickups, single coil, treble like 50% of its capacity, above the notch, and drop D. bit of treble just to push the distortion. You know, it gets that little extra bite. It just sounds, I don't know, I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah!
Yours is so much louder than mine.
Yeah!
Are you maxed on your EQ again?
Maybe.
I'm looking at the signal and like mine is like a whisper and yours is just this
you know,
Godzilla
it's
of a
habit.
sound.
I turn everything up right before I play. Was I not supposed to do that?
Well, let me just try it again now. It's a little bigger. Let me try that in parallel. All right, that's a little better.
You can try everything you want.
Well, we're going to switch in a minute, and then we're going to get to hear this through that pedal.
Right.
And we'll get to
You're
see
right.
that
It could just be the pedal.
Oh, it's totally the pedal.
Really? You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
That just the way it's set up versus how this one sounds, it's just way more.
Okay.
You have more clarity, you know?
So let's get these. Get that on the setting where it's equal to this one with everything all the way up all the time.
Let me hear.
I mean, and then we'll switch.
Oh yeah. So yeah, again, I'm all the way up like you are, and I'm in series Bucker. If I went parallel Bucker in the front and single coil in the back, that's about as close as far as the pickup configuration would be, because the P is a single coil, but because of how it's set up, it bucks the hum, which is what the parallel does, but it has tonal character. You get it. So that's about the closest. I don't need to run out of breath talking about parallel. Close enough for country. Shall we do the old swapperoo?
If we have to. I'm kidding, Warwick. I'm kidding.
This is more comfy to sit with.
Oh.
For someone
Really?
who's enjoyed too many cheeseburgers in their life, it contours with me very nicely.
It does. It has a contour. It's like got
Yeah.
a contoured body. This one's kind of flat on the back. I mean, it's okay. It's got different contour. But that one sort of like wraps around, you know?
So I want to. So you're
It
not
hugs you.
much of a Warwick player. You've had a chance to play a little bit here, but what is your impression on? We'll get to the tone later. I want to know just like the feel. Like how do you like the feel of it?
First of all, get to the tone later. That doesn't make any sense. I'm joking.
The tone is the thing that's the easiest to change. You can't change the feel, right?
I guess you're right. How does it feel? Well, I'm really starting to like the matte finishes, but I know that's also just a choice. This isn't really with the Warwick, but I do enjoy this matte finish. And also, it's not sanded down. It's like the way the wood came, and they only sand it as much as they need to. But I think that's also another choice.
Yeah.
It feels good. The neck is fatter, but I think that's another choice that you could order them differently
Really? You
if
think
you
the
want.
neck's fatter?
It feels like it to me.
It feels about
Not
the
wider.
same. If anything, this
Fatter.
maybe this feels. I don't know.
I did not know. First of all, look at this little design detail right here. This little W. That is so
Isn't that
cute.
rad?
Yeah. I didn't know about all of the adjustments that you can make on this. And you know, I do adjust the action on my bass and few things like that. But when it comes to the truss rod, I had a long night with the truss rod once. A long, miserable night. And I think it just ended the way it started. So now I don't mess with truss rod. So that's for more advanced mess-arounders. Mess-arounders, not me. But I find it intriguing that you can do that, and also that you can change the width of strings. That's incredible.
Yeah, the string spacing is what sets it. Because I mean, every other bridge will do back and forth, up and down.
Yeah.
You know, but
And
side
then
to
if
side.
this just pops out, I feel as though a company that's forward looking like that, where they're trying to improve, because it's a bass. I mean, how much can you improve on it? It is a piece of wood with strings on it. That's my motto here. You know what? That's a shirt you should make.
It's a piece of wood
Right.
with strings on
right?
it.
You know how you have
I
the
like
shirt for the other one? For
Yeah.
The bending the neck.
Oh, the neck bends? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to be with a wash tub bass, right? With this, you know what I'm talking about. Overdub a photo right here. We're going to have the picture right here. Okay?
I love it.
Anyway, the fact that there's not that many things you can change, you can mess with electronics, you can upgrade this and change these pickups and everything like that. But to just the few things that make us crazy, like drop D, I feel like that should just be on every single bass, right? Just have a drop D.
The extender?
Yes, just bam, down to D. That should be on every bass. And Warwick, they're probably going to do it next year, right? Because they put in all these other little funky twists, and it's so cool. I've never even seen these before.
The one thing that they do in the master built line, the top of the line, is the back plate is actually part of the wood. They cut it to make the cavity, put the wood back, and instead of a 9-volt, they use a lithium ion, and it's got the USB charging port, so you never have to take the cover off.
I mean, come on.
I know. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever heard of?
Yes. Yes. That is incredible.
Yeah.
So I think, I love bass. So any bass you put in my hands is going to feel good. I'm just being honest. Unless it's just a total piece of junk.
Yeah.
But the first thing I said, I remember when I grabbed this feels really well made. It feels solid. That was the thing I said.
Yeah.
This feels solid. So I can understand that when you got home and you played your other bass and you said this feels like a toy. Because this feels really solid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I think that's my main impression.
Like, again, I don't have that much experience with Spector, minus the one that they sent. That's nice. And
I
you know
just
what?
love that growl.
I want to formally apologize to everybody watching. I have been an absolute disappointment and a not good representation of that bass due to the lack of volume in the room. And I was playing the hell out of it. It's easier to play because I can hear it. So I apologize for the last 40 minutes of my playing. I like this.
Wow.
And go clean.
Do you feel the Spector love?
Yeah, I just wish Spector loved me back. Yeah. You know? John, get back to me.
John,
come on,
get back to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to preference and what you want to hear and what you want to feel. There's things about this that I love. I love the balance. I love the neck. I don't love the gloss, but that's kind of irrelevant. It's a personal thing. But there's things I like about the Warwick. I love the nut. I love the wood feel, the open grain feel. Between the two, I'm kind of digging this tone a lot more.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, I think it comes down to personal preference. So drop us a comment down in the comments. Let us know which one you prefer. Do you own one or both? Did you own one and then sell one? I want to know about it. So again, thank you all very much for watching. Nikki, is there anything else you would like to say while we wrap up?
Yes. All you bass players out there, start writing songs. Write those bass lines, write those songs, and practice, practice, practice. We can't listen to the same songs over and over for the rest of our lives. You need to bring new songs into the world. And that's what I have to say.
I can listen to the same songs for the rest of my life. But anyway, thank you all again very much for watching, for subscribing, for commenting, for liking, and everybody who dislikes, thank you as well, because every single interaction counts. So until next time, I'm Chris from the Bass Channel, and thanks for watching.
Wait, don't do this. Don't do this because I did this. It's like for the good viewers and the bad ones. Everybody gets something.